up your YouTube, search for Stukeley Meadows, watch on your big screen. Get yourself comfy, this could take a while, what a happy scene. Something new every day for your long-term memory. This is so exciting, it is nearly time for a Stukeley assembly. Good morning everyone, and welcome to our Wednesday reading assembly. For each other we, every day we, to improve we, together we will. Every single Stukeley day we focus on. Our Stukeley motto is, our Stukeley curriculum is, and 4 words that make the magic happen. Yes, they do. Right. We know that Mr. Gum is coming soon, and I know we're excited about that. But before that, see you, Mrs. Warner. Teachers love a shout out in assembly. Before we do the next part of our Mr. Gum story, we are going to do some Charles Dickens retrieval. Don't moan. I know that we read Dickens a while back, but I want to keep his magic alive. So today, it's not going to be a little quiz. Today, I'm going to give you the start of a sentence. Your teachers are going to pause the video. And then I want you as a class to think about the end of the sentence. Okay? It'll make sense when I get onto it. Right, first of all then. Charles Dickens was a popular author because. Pause the video, finish off that sentence. Go. Okay, next one. Charles Dickens was a popular author, but. Pause the video, finish it off. Interesting one. Final one. Charles Dickens was a popular author and. Finish it off. Now don't just put one word on the end. Don't say popular author and father. The and bit is another bit of information. Go. Pause the video, go. Mr. Smith walking past, trying to do so very quietly, but not being that successful. Right, okay, bit of a Dickens warm-up. We're now going to think about our story, which I am really looking forward to. Very, very, very quick recap. You're a bad man, Mr. Gum. He is. His house is awful. His garden's beautiful. You know what's coming. If it's not beautiful, he gets up, whack, from the bad fairy. Jake the dog piles in, rips up the garden. The bad fairy is not happy. Whack, 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 whack. Keeps having a go at him. Eventually, it happens so much that Mr. Gum needs a plan. The plan is to poison Jake the dog, kill the dog, so he gets a disgusting bag of meat. He also sits on this chest. Now, I keep mentioning this chest. It may not come back into the story, but I'm just not sure. Anyway, he sits on the chest. Then, while he's thinking of his plan, this little girl, Polly, really long real name, she hears him coming up with this plan, worries that he's going to kill the dog, and she goes and meets this guy called Friday O'Leary, who we think is going to be the hero. Anyway, while she's going to Friday O'Leary's cottage, Mr. Gum works out that he has to make the meat smell nicer. If he doesn't, the dog's not going to go for it. So he goes into the sweet shop where Mrs. Lovely works, and he buys some, was it lemonade, sherbety lemonade sweets that give it a lovely smell. Just while we're on that bit, Mr. Smith is a really happy chap and he laughs and smiles a lot. But last week, he told me that when he was listening to this, there was one line in the story which made him laugh the most, and this is the line which he enjoyed. Mr. Smith's favourite sentence was this one. I don't know what's so lovely about today, you old menace, snarled Mr. Gum, who was handing over some potatoes he had painted to look like pound coins to save money. That was Mr. Smith's top sentence, and I just wanted to share that with you because it was a great moment for him. Right, so this is where we're up to. Is Mr. Gum going to poison Jake the dog? Is Polly going to stop him? How is Friday O'Leary going to become the hero? And are we going to find any more out about this chest? Okay, chapter 7, Friday O'Leary. We know that Polly's going to probably get him to help her save the dog. So now we head back to Polly, who is just where we left her a couple of chapters ago, having a good old cry outside the secret cottage. Who, though, is that man watching her from the window? You've probably been going crazy with suspense, haven't you? Even though I've already told you. Well, you can breathe a sigh of relief because this man is none other than Friday O'Leary, who is one of the heroes of this story. The next time somebody says to you, I hate old men, all old men are unpleasant and wicked, then please don't agree with them. Take a minute to think about this story. Old men are unpleasant and wicked? That's nonsense, you will say to people who say that old men are wicked. No, it's not, somebody will say back to you. And their name might be Anthony. Mr. Gum's an old man, and he's a dreadful old shocker. That's true, Anthony, you will say. Oh, what about Billy William III, says Anthony. He's as horrible as Brussels sprouts. Well, you will find it hard to disagree with that. Maybe all old men are horrible. But Anthony, you will say, you're forgetting about Friday O'Leary. He's an old man too, and he's an absolute champion. Oh, I am stupid, Anthony will say. I forgot about Friday O'Leary. I am going to go away now to pay £200 to see a glass of water balanced on a horse's back. That is how stupid I am. And you will never be bothered by anyone called Anthony again. Anyway, I've gone off the plot. Who was this Friday O'Leary character anyway? Nobody knew much about him because he was a mysterious sort of fellow. But I will tell you what I know based on rumours, half-truths and downright lies. Friday O'Leary was as old as the hills and as wise as the hills, but not quite as tall as the hills. His bald head was covered in thick curly hair, and he had the normal number of legs. He was the only person ever to have found a needle in a haystack, although to be fair, it was a very large needle in a very small haystack. His favourite number was green, and his favourite colour was 26. He sometimes got his numbers and his colours mixed up, and he owned the world's smallest collection of stamps. None at all. Oh, and one last thing. Occasionally, for reasons that only he knew, Friday O'Leary shouted, "The truth is a lemon meringue," at the end of his sentence. Anyway, earlier that day, Friday had been sitting in his front room, playing the piano. He was playing a song he'd written himself called He Was Playing a Song He Had Written Himself. All about how he was playing a song he had written himself. He had also written a song called But He Wasn't Playing That at the Moment. He had just come to the final line in his song when the telephone rang. Friday ran to get the phone, but he was too late because it wasn't ringing in his cottage. It was ringing in Ethel Frumpton's house 100 miles away. It was her friend Mavis on the line. "Hello, Ethel," said Mavis. "How's things?" Back at the secret cottage, there came the sound of crying and sobbing and general unhappy little girl noises. Friday rushed to the window and uttered those famous words that I mentioned before. "Well, well, well," said Friday. "What have we here? A little girl in trouble." Then he opened the front door and stepped outside. "Hello," he said to Polly. "Are you all right? The truth is a lemon meringue." "Who are you?" asked Polly. She was a little bit nervous because her mother had told her never to talk to strangers. Her mother was full of good advice. Brush your teeth twice a day. Wash your hands before meals. Don't cut your legs off with a bread knife. But most of all, her mother's best advice was, don't talk to strangers. Especially when a stranger is as strange as the stranger that was strange before. "They call me Mungo Bubbles," said Friday O'Leary, "but I don't know why, because my name is Friday O'Leary." And then Polly knew that everything would be okay, because her mother had told her all about this incredible man one stormy night. Polly's mother had already told her about Friday O'Leary. "Friday O'Leary is a mysterious old man who lives in a secret cottage in the woods. No one knows exactly where he is, not even the Prime Minister. But if you ever need help, you might find yourself at his cottage, and he will help you with your problems. Friday O'Leary, I mean, not the Prime Minister." Polly remembered her mother's advice and knew that this man was not really a stranger. Then she had a thought. What if it wasn't really Friday O'Leary? What if the man was pretending to be him? Then she remembered something else that her mother had told her. "Friday O'Leary can juggle 5 ping pong balls and a banana, and he hardly ever drops them." So Polly asked the old man if he would mind juggling 5 ping pong balls and a banana for her. Luckily, she had 5 ping pong balls and a banana in her skirt pocket. So Friday juggled them, and he hardly ever dropped them, and then Polly knew it was definitely Friday O'Leary. Suddenly, the woods looked friendly and welcoming, and Polly saw how beautiful all that nature was, and how she probably wasn't going to be eaten by a flower. "Friday O'Leary!" she cried. "I'm so glad to meet you. My name is Jammy Grammy Lammy Flip Flip Flip." "I will call you Polly," said Friday O'Leary. Chapter 8. Some things happen. Now, I'll tell you what, Friday O'Leary was not the only character in this story with a mysterious house. Nobody knew where Jake the dog lived either. "I bet he lives on a farm and plays with all the other animals," said Jonathan Ripples, the fattest man in town, rubbing his chins. "Maybe he lives in the house of a rich man who feeds him bones made of gold," said the little girl called Peter. "This is just a guess," said Martin Laundrette. "But perhaps he lives on a farm where he plays with all the other Suddenly, Jonathan Ripples pounced on Martin Laundrette and sat on him until he was wheezing for breath like a broken accordion. "That'll teach you not to steal people's ideas, you skinny rubbisher," said Jonathan Ripples. "Come on, Peter, let's go for an ice cream." In any case, Jake the dog didn't live on a farm, and he didn't live in a rich man's house. Nobody knew where he lived except me, and I'm not going to tell you, okay? I'll tell you for £1, okay? 50p, okay, 10p. Come on, 10p? Oh, it's not much. Oh, go on then. Okay, you win. I'll tell you anyway. He lived in the woods, up a horse chestnut tree. He'd built a great big nest up there and filled it with full of old leaves, which kept him warm at night. Someone had left an old radio lying around the woods, and Jake had found it one day and taken it up to his nest, even though it didn't work. Well, he was a dog after all. While Polly was searching for Jake, that very dog had been having a grand old time. He larked about with the cuckoos, and he'd gone cuckoo with the larks, and he brought some tin foil off a magpie for a couple of horse chestnuts. And after lunch, he decided to go into town to play in a garden or two. Uh-oh. He shimmied down the tree quicker than you can read this sentence, and he set off in a happy mood. Off he went, strolling along in the sunshine with not a care in the world, barking and burping and singing a song which went like this. Bark, 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 bark. Soon, Jake the dog came into town. He passed old Granny's garden with its lovely soft lawn and pond full of friendly ducks. He passed the celebrated garden of the retired wrestler, Marvellous Marvin, with its rockery in the shape of wrestling. He passed Beanie McLeany's garden, where everything rhymed and the flowers grew like towers. But there was only one garden that Jake wanted to go into today, and that garden was Mr. Gum's. On he went, his great furry legs moving at speed. Soon he came to the high street. Watching secretly from behind his greasy window, Billy William laughed to think of the nasty surprise that awaited the dog, because Billy William knew that the dog was soon to be poisoned. It's funny, he chuckled to himself as Jake walked down the road out of sight. At last, Jake came to the spiky fence that surrounded Mr. Gum's dirty house. It might have kept the other dogs out, but Jake was not one of those dogs, and he knew how to get in there quick sharp. He did a sort of bouncing run, and in no time at all, he was into the garden. Well, obviously it took him a bit of time, but not as long as it could have done. He landed in the garden in a shower of dirt and flowers, and he barked his most welcoming bark to let all the garden friends know that he'd arrived. His bark went like this, and his normal bark went like this. The animals all recognised Jake's bark because it was so different from his other bark. Immediately the moles popped up out of their holes, and the squirrels popped out of their squirrel holes, and the cats popped out of their cat holes. And in Mr. Gum's kitchen, the toast popped out of the toaster, and Mr. Gum saw it trying to escape, and he ate it. "What's going on?" he scowled. But then his eyes lit up horridly. "I bet it's that dog," he said, spitting toast all over the kitchen. "I bet it's that horrible dog." Very carefully, Mr. Gum tiptoed over to his kitchen window, and he did secret spying with his unfriendly eyes. Outside, Jake the dog was racing excitedly round the lawn, chasing his own tail. The caterpillars were so happy to see Jake that they immediately turned into butterflies. One of the caterpillars was so happy that it turned into a donkey. The moles squeaked and the butterflies roared with pleasure. The birds came swooping out of the trees. Mr. Gum watched this all happening, and he hated it. "Come on, you meddling dog," he said under his bad breath. "Come on and eat that bag of hearts." Then it happened. Jake suddenly stopped barking. His nose twitched and he sniffed the lemonade powder. Now, it's not the first time that Jake had smelt something delicious, but this smell really got him interested. He walked over to the plate of cow's hearts in the middle of the lawn. The other animals froze in horror as the big dog opened his mouth. one of the moles let out a warning squeak, but he only got as far as it was too late. Jake's doggy jaws had already closed around the heart. He chewed it up. Then he swallowed another one. Then he swallowed another one. And then he swallowed another one. Before he could take another bite, he gave a sad and then he fell over. His big furry body moved a little bit from side to side, and suddenly the sun was covered up by a dirty grey cloud the size of Sweden. Behind the curtains, Mr. Gum was laughing like a robber. Will they get to cheer or will they get to boo? With either one there must not be violence. They may well get a song, but it will not last that long. We really hope they do not get silence. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cheer, Boo, Song or Silence. Now, behind the curtain I have Miss Salah, who has worked all across the school, but is working this year in year 2 with Miss Smart. I know what you're thinking. Miss Smart got silenced, didn't she? Well, let's hope that Miss Salah is a little bit luckier than that. What do you think she's gonna get? Cheer, boo, song or silence? Oh, I'm excited. Right, out you come, Miss Salah! Believe it. I'm so sorry. I don't have anything to say. See you next week. Will they get to cheer or will they get to boo? With either one there must not be violence. They may well get a song, but it will not last that long. We really hope they do not get silence. I can't believe it. Another silence. It really is quite disappointing, but the cards say what the cards say. Right, shout out to everyone. Happy birthday, Farrell, in year 5. Today, hope it's been great. Hope the rest of it's great. Tell me all about it when I see you. Also, massive shout out to everybody that took part in the summer reading challenge. It's about 60 of you. Better late than never. All of these cards are going out today, so you'll get a certificate for taking part and you will get some money to spend in the Oakleaf bookshop. And I will explain that to all of you when I come round to your classrooms. Enjoy and well done everybody. Just before we go into most important 60 seconds time, please don't forget that Fossums have got a Friday Zoom quiz challenge. It's going to be great fun. And there's a Stukeley Fossums Rocks challenge as well. I'm giving it a shout out now because Fossums events are always great fun and they need your support to raise some money, but also to keep our spirits up. So make sure you crack on with it. The most important 60 seconds are coming up now. The most important 60 seconds are coming up now. I know what you're saying. Oh, not that poster again. It's important, this poster. This poster tells us that every child in the school should be reading 5 times a week, writing about it in their learning log. If you're year 2 to year 6, you should be doing it yourself. If you're in foundation in year 1, it'll be your family or you that does it. You need to take quizzes if you're on accelerated reader. You need to practice your spellings, please, or phonics, whichever you're doing. And 2 lots of times tables or numbots at home. That's for the whole school. Please make sure you get it done. I'm going to make a video of how home learning works for those of you that are finding it hard to log on. And a final important reminder, if you'd like a Squishmallow from the Oakleaf Bookshop, I need an email from your family and the money to come in a Squishmallow envelope so I know what it's for.